Ah, it's one of those days. One of those days indeed. So, yes. The carriage is trundling back this short journey back from Shipley's house in Chelsea to the Esoteric Society. And Lady Irene is sort of staring blankly out the window, sort of coming back to her senses and herself. And Mortimer, you see across from you on the opposite seat this terrified, twitchy-looking artist, Miles Shipley, who Maddie had sort of dragged out of his house. Right. Where are we going? Where are we going again?
Somewhere safe. It's a nice house. You'll be safe there. How did you end up in that house with that thing?
It's my house. I live there.
Oh, that strange creature.
It's my mother. No, not my mother. No. It was my mother. It's
just made itself look like her.
I met it at a pub, and then they were interested by my paintings, and then I came back to them the paintings, and then so it's confusing, but have you seen my mother, my real mother? Do you know where she is? Is she safe? Is she all right?
I haven't seen her. No, I've only seen a picture of her. I think in your in the dining room above the fireplace. I think there's a picture there. So I've not seen her, I'm afraid.
Because that wasn't her. It looks like her, but it wasn't her. And it wouldn't let me leave.
Yes, I'm guessing it put the bars on the windows.
For security, in case someone broke in, it said, but...
To stop you getting out.
Wouldn't let me out.
You're safe now, anyhow. This place, you will be safe there.
But it's so bright out. You seem sort of shy back a little from...
Bit of a jailbreak.
The curtains. Yeah.
Well, when we arrive, you can have a nice cup of tea and something to eat, and a chance to relax and unwind a bit and rest.
Yeah, and the creature, it can't come after us?
No, I'm fairly certain it can't.
You're sure? You're really sure? Because
I'm really sure.
We'll find you. It's always watching. Slithering around.
Oh, that snake person thing.
Yeah.
No, I believe it is stuck in the house that's currently on fire.
Wait.
It might actually be the source of the fire.
Wait. My house is on fire?
I'm not sure. I think there was a case of... it could be one of those strange cases of spontaneous human combustion that there was in the papers, must be months ago now.
The fire, yeah, I saw the fire. I didn't paint that fire, but I saw that fire.
So it could be something like that.
That was
years ago, possibly. I can't remember.
I saw it the other day, but that might have still been years ago. I don't... Sometimes things... They're confused.
Once we get you somewhere safe, we'll make inquiries and try to find out about your mother for you.
Okay.
But I don't believe there's anyone else in that house. The only people, well, I could hear in the property was yourself and that snake person. But I didn't have an opportunity to look anywhere, really. I couldn't hear anyone else anywhere in the property.
Right, yes.
And the tea was drugged as well. She seemed to have put something like laudanum, I believe.
She always puts stuff in the tea. You didn't see anything, did you?
I didn't drink any of it. I should have really taken a sample so I could test it to find out what was really in it. But
it wasn't laudanum. Well, maybe she gave you laudanum. It wasn't laudanum.
I think there was something else in it as well I didn't recognise.
Seen things.
But There you have it. You're safe.
Yeah, so as this conversation is drawing to close, it's only a short journey from Chelsea to Grosvenor Square, and you pull up outside the front of the Esoteric Society. Lady Irene excuses herself, and she needs to collect herself after such a violent outburst. James just looks up and down this sort of tatty, bedraggled, like sickly form of Miles Shipley and ushers you inside. Okay. Tea in the parlour or tea in the library?
I believe the parlour's probably the most comfortable place.
I'll get some sent up. Are you expecting the others to be returning?
I had hoped Miss Carter would have arrived before us. I believe Miss Carter and Franco Bernice may be on their way.
Okay. They're not here currently. I will show them through when they arrive.
This gentleman is Miles Shipley, an artist. I believe Mr. McCrashley had recently purchased a painting of him. It's probably best you don't know too much about what's just happened.
Probably best. I'll go get the tea.
Yes.
And yes, so as Mortimer and Miles arrive back at Grosvenor Square, Maddie, you had walked away from the Shipley house.
Yes, quite briskly.
In a somewhat random direction, you find yourself sort of striking up along the street northwards. Along sort of these wide tree-lined streets. Heading up towards where these smaller streets join with the big thoroughfare of Piccadilly, sort of carriages crossing by, rustle of people. And you see ahead of you the gates of Hyde Park. And you know if you turn right here, it'll take you back towards your home, towards the Esoteric Society. Or you can head on into the park. It's this lovely, bright, sunny day. You can see people out walking with parasols, children playing.
I'm going to go into the park.
Okay. As you walk in, it's a beautiful day. There's people sailing little model boats from the lake, children running, playing games, clusters of people promenading around, sort of gossiping, watching people as they go. And as you walk through into the park, you get a slightly unsettling feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear footsteps behind you. You get the feeling that someone is following you.
I am going to continue walking in the direction my feet are taking me. I am going to speed up a little bit and just keep going. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to turn around just yet. If there is a bend in the path I am on, I will look behind me, but other than that, no.
Okay, as you speed up, you hear the footsteps behind you speed up too. Getting a little brisker. And as you turn the bend, glancing back, would you give me a spot hidden, please?
Extreme success.
You can clearly see you're being tailed. A figure
By
dressed a little too heavily for this hot day, in a sort of a thick overcoat. Trying to remember the hat. So let's say a top hat, thick overcoat, and he's following only a few feet behind you. It's not anyone you recognize.
I'm going to immediately reverse direction, complete 180, and walk past him.
As you sort of turn around and turn past him, you catch a glimpse of a look at his face. For a moment, you're sure you've seen it before somewhere, and then you're not quite sure. The memory of it sort of flickers and slides from your mind as you walk back past him, back around the corner past the lake. And then you see a figure ahead of you on the path, sort of directly in the path you're heading. And you can see ahead of you a man in a dark overcoat, top hats, too warmly dressed for this day, standing ahead of you on the path.
I'm going to go into the grass and take a shortcut through the grass to get out of the park.
Okay,
I will pick up my skirts. My ankles may show, but I'm going quickly.
You hurry through the grass, through the park, towards the exit. You see another figure, or the same figure again, sat on a bench close to the entrance, there with a newspaper, looking at you over the top of an open newspaper. And in fact, actually, you can clearly see the headline on the newspaper.
What does it say?
Earl Grey's murderer apprehended. Can't make out any more of the story. It's a black and white photograph of a man that you don't know. It's nobody you recognize. Yeah, he sat on a bench beside the entrance. To get out of the park, you just need to walk past him.
I will. I'll walk past him.
You see, he watches you as you go. And as you see out of the very corner of your eye as you exit the park, you see a little wave. And you're now...
I keep going.
Are you heading back to the society or just in any direction?
In any direction.
Okay, so as you strike off across the streets of Mayfair, you see well-dressed people stepping out of carriages. It's a little quiet around here. A lot of people have left the city for the summer. But once more, you start to hear footsteps behind you.
This time I am going to turn around and look.
The same black-coated individual, just standing a few feet behind you on the street.
Are any of the carriages nearby empty?
There's some hackney cabs you could hail, yes?
Yes, I'm going to hail one.
Where to, miss?
The home, please. Grosvenor Square.
Grosvenor Square. Yep, right away. As the horse hooves clop into action, you start to head back towards the square.
And I'm going to look out the window as we're going past.
Gives a little wave as the carriage draws away from him. You pull up outside 18 Grosvenor Square.
I pay the cab driver, and then I run up the stairs into the building.
And you hear James go, Miss Carter! Welcome back. Dr. Davenport is just entertaining your guests with tea in the parlour. Are you all right, miss?
I'm being followed.
See James peer out the door. Can't see anyone, miss.
Where did you say Dr. Davenport was?
Just in the parlour.
I'll go in.
Okay. And as Maddie heads into the parlour, we're just going to catch up with where Franco got to. So, Franco was last seen escaping out the back door of a burning building over in Chelsea. As the flames lick higher across the Shipley residence. Where are you heading, Franco?
I think the first thing to do would be to, leave the immediate area.
Yeah.
Trying to collect myself. I'm thinking maybe it survives the fire, right? I mean, it's been in a cellar behind a hidden door. Did I close it? Oh, I don't remember. Maybe I should go back. Maybe I should go back and take another look at it. Oh, wait until the firefighters are done. Then go back. So how long does it take? Maybe. Then just mumbling and walking blindly for a while.
Okay. Do you have any particular destination in mind?
Not really.
Okay. Or in other words, are you heading back to the society or are you going elsewhere?
I think he'd go back to the society once he's collected his thoughts towards the I'm gonna go back there, but leave the firefighters that time. So probably going back to the society, getting something to eat, to drink, and then be ready.
In which case you probably arrived not long after Maddie. You see Maddie hop down from a handsome cab and hurry inside the building.
Oh. Yeah, okay. So, I have half a wall of weird scribbles, and Maddie's here. So that's perfect. Let's go and let's have her translate it. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fun.
Franco, you're here too.
Yeah. I got something interesting.
Were you following Miss Carter?
No. I was over there, and she came with a cab.
Okay. Did you see anyone following her?
Did I?
No.
I think I just saw her hop out of the cab. I mean,
Yeah.
If
you only just saw her hop
probably...
down from a handsome cab, unless anyone was following follow that cab sort of routine.
Didn't see a second cab, so I guess not. But maybe she, lost them when she took a cab. Why would somebody follow her?
No, just got to be careful, It's dangerous people out there.
True. Also crazy people out there. A lot.
Yes. The others are in the parlor having tea.
The other crazy people?
The other guests and residents of this house.
I misunderstood. I'm sorry. Let's go in.
Yeah, and he shows you through, after following behind Maddie, into the parlor where there's Mortimer and the male Shipley hunched up in a chair, trying to take up as little space as possible.
Yeah, I'm just gonna walk right in and hold all the writings and stuff in front of me and be like, look what I copied. There's a lot of stuff in there. And I just drop it in the middle on the table, not really bothering whether I'm throwing something. And all the writings that I was able to copy down are in there. And then it's only half of the stuff because it was kind of someone lit the building afire, and that was not good. So I had to leave. I couldn't. I mean, I wanted to, but I couldn't. And it was really close. The firefighters were up front of the building already. I had to leave through the back door. It's not good. Mm-hmm.
Well, as soon as Maddie and Franco enter the room, Mortimer will stand up and at least you two made it. That was a close call.
Did somebody not make it?
No, everyone's fine.
Oh, okay.
Lady,
No,
are you-
not fine. Not
Oh.
fine. I'm being followed.
do you know who followed you, or did you recognize them, or what did they look
He
like?
seemed familiar, but he was wearing a coat that was much too warm for today. And a top hat. He followed me. He followed me to the park, and he followed me back until I caught the handsome cat.
It wasn't following the cab, at least. I mean, certainly there was nobody when you jumped out of it. I mean, I was looking at that. So you can be okay with that, I guess. I think. Should be okay here. I didn't see anybody, but I saw you.
At least, as you say, he didn't follow the carriage. So, that's something, but whether... You said they looked familiar.
Mm-hmm. I just don't know where from. And they were reading the paper at the park.
Which paper?
It said that Earl Grey's murderer was captured? Apprehended?
I wonder who that is, who they've caught for it.
I couldn't read the paper. I was trying to not be followed.
That's okay. It's still early in the day, really. I think it's probably about lunchtime, more or less, because we went early in the morning. So there's a good chance that I'll be able to grab a copy of the paper. I can just have a wander and buy a paper and see what the news story is shortly. You
James
just
might have
help
a
yourself to
copy.
some tea. Help yourself to some tea, make yourself comfortable, relax a bit, and try to unwind. Miles had been telling me about that serpent person. He had met them in a bar, a pub, I believe. Which bar was it, Mr. Shipley, you mentioned?
Good question. It's
Him then.
Not the Red Lion again, is it?
no,
There's
no,
a few of those around London.
no, not the Red Lion. I mean, or an opium den. Well, do you think it was the Rose and Crown?
Was that the pub that I followed the person to?
You've followed the person to an opium den.
Okay, so it's not the same.
Not the same location. No.
Okay. So we have two locations then. That weird opium den of the person and this pub, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, two places to check out for further info. But,
Yeah.
Yes, apparently this creature had, obviously didn't look the way it was interested in Mr. Shipley's paintings and his artwork, and that's how he encountered it.
I mean, so the creature came with you to your house, but it wasn't your mom back then, I assume.
No, a man. Kind of oldish, but not that old. Like, if that makes sense. Like in his 50s, bit short, bushy moustache. He called himself Arthur.
Not really
Arthur.
an uncommon name.
Arthur Cotting.
Does that match the person you saw leave the place, Franco?
It does.
So that must have been one of its disguises. It probably sticks with a couple.
I mean, if it can switch, why wouldn't it? True and back. I mean, at least I've and I'm just gonna lean over to Mr. Davenport and loudly whisper, "Shh. Did I tell what I found in the cellar?"
Probably not.
Okay.
Is this what? Did you find the drawings there?
Yeah, I found all the walls written with this. That's about half the wall, and it's like papers over papers over papers, and like the the notebook scribbled and just more like drawn crudely, like a kid trying to write.
I could probably try and translate this. I haven't got much to work with, but I could treat it as the same sort of way as trying to break a coded message. Just imagine instead of a code, instead of a different language, it's in code, and just try to treat it as if I'm breaking a code. That might work, and see what the symbols and letters mean.
I mean, before we do nothing with it.
I could try to do something like that with it, but are you okay, Miss Carter? You don't look that well at the moment. Do you want to have a rest?
Miss Carter? You're staring in the distance. Everything all right?
Do you want to have a lie down or a rest?
I don't know. I'm going to wander over to the window in the parlor, assuming there's a window facing the street, and I'm going to peek out the window.
Could you make me a spot hidden?
You're muted.
Could you make me a spot hidden, please? At this point, you should be able to lip read the word spot hidden.
Yes.
They come up so often.
Hard success.
You can see a figure on the other side of the square, bent up against a tree. Stares
Is
up
it the
at
same
you.
one?
Yes.
He's here.
Where?
Who's there?
Person who follows me.
I'll have a look out the window as well. Do I
Detail?
see?
Could you make me a spot hidden, please?
Is Maddie not pointing him out?
There's a few people
No.
strolling the square. No sign of the man Maddie's talking about, though, Franco. You don't see him. And neither do you, Mortimer.
I can't see where this person is.
He's there. Cross. I think I'm just gonna leave the room, wander around the house, away from the windows.
Maybe a friend that visits her at night.
Keeper, I'm just wondering, does the London Esoteric Society tend to have papers delivered? Like
Yes,
the daily
you probably get a
papers?
daily paper.
I'm just wondering if they get a regular paper delivered.
I think certainly so. It'd be the kind of thing that James probably picks up, even if until someone tells James to stop picking up a paper every morning. James has just been picking up a paper every morning. They're probably stacked in cupboards down the side of the library, where, just in case someone wants to go back and look for something.
Exactly. I'll have a look to see if I can find any info about the Earl Grey's murder, if it's on the headlines of any of the papers that he's picked up.
Yes, it's mentioned in a couple of them. They have arrested the man they believe to be behind the gruesome murder of Earl Grey and his, they call her niece, she's his niece-in-law, but his niece, Miss Lucinda Vane, and they're laying the blame at the feet of a spurned suitor of Miss Vane.
Dr. Lake?
Dr. Nathan Lake, who tragically, due to overexposure to his own insane inmates, has lost his mind and in a fit of anger and vengeance killed Lucinda, her uncle, several of their guests, and set the house on fire. Dr. Lake has been arrested. The question now is whether he will hang for the murders, or whether he will be deemed of unsound mind.
That's a bit worrying, whether he'll end up locked up in his own sanatorium.
Indeed. The police are also looking for known accomplices of Dr. Lake, who may have questions to answer, including a notorious East London gangster known as Augustus Green. But he's not yet been apprehended. Like,
No
they
other
want him
names
for questions. They believe he might have been involved in some way. And an unknown doctor.
That's a bit worrying.
They know
Never mind.
way too much. Since when does a paper have that much detail? This is worrying.
This is sort of almost like an appeal to, like, you know, if you know anything about this, you know, the police are interested in more information. So they're putting out this appeal to see if, you know, anyone is going to come forward with information.
I mean, you could always come forward with some misinformation. That would be helpful, wouldn't it?
Could be. I'm not sure what we can do next. Miss Carter doesn't seem that well at the moment, but she has been through a lot recently.
I mean, who is well with all that's happening?
I could always have a look at these drawings that you've put together now, if you'd like.
Yeah.
See if it can make any sort of sense out of them.
I'll be going back there once the firefighters are done with their business, and then I'm gonna go get the rest.
Well,
if it's not completely,
I don't think it was much of a fire that I saw. It seemed to be contained in a small area. Pretty much the snake person was the fire. And I believe Mr. Shipley would probably like to return to his house at some point. So, yes, exactly. It's your house after all. So, once you've had a chance to rest and recuperate a bit, we could always, whether you visit with Brother Franco, if you go back with Mr. Shipley then to check his house.
Sure. Can't do that. We could do that. I'm looking at you with like a not really hidden look, more like not a good idea.
Yes, I know exactly how Franco planned to get into that house.
I mean, in point 1 and point 2, there might be something in the cellar that he shouldn't really see.
Yes, I got that impression when you were whispering, but he doesn't have to see that.
So this is fine.
Keeper, looking at these drawings, can I make any sort of sense out of them?
The writing is unknown to you.
I've not seen this before. The closest thing I've probably seen to it is probably that rune on that stone, I suspect.
Yeah, you've seen one stone. It's back at it's in the cabinet of the Esoteric Society. I don't think you've ever otherwise seen this writing before.
Nope.
So essentially this is the equivalent of trying to understand hieroglyphics without the Rosetta Stone. Don't really have a starting point.
Should
All
be
you can
easy
see
enough.
is this appears to be some sort of language, some sort of writing system. There's definitely some symbols repeating in there. Suggests this is writing rather than just decoration.
So it's more writing than hieroglyphics.
Yes, but
That's what I was
looking
thinking.
at the
whether it's
number of
more
symbols involved, you see that this is not. It doesn't look quite like an alphabet. So
that's
this is
what I
in
was
some way
hoping.
it's a pictographic language, but it's not they're very stylized compared to hieroglyphics. Think of it
That's
more in the
okay.
terms of thinking of looking at like the Chinese alphabet in terms of like some of them have some resemblance that maybe they are based off something, but
like symbolism
you
rather
can't
than
really look at a
alphabet.
symbol and go, aha, yes, that's a tree. That one's definitely a serpent.
That's
And
okay.
there
I
are
was
some that
hoping it
look
was an
rather
alphabet and I'd be
serpentine.
able to try and decode it, but
Yes, it would definitely require some study and some good rolls to start making sense of it without any further clues.
do you want me to do a roll now? See what happens.
Yeah, you can make me an intelligence. I think I'd make this.
I was
And
hoping
it's-
for education, but intelligence would be fine. Let's see. Let's see.
What did you get?
Hard success. It's just to make a start. And
Hard success. You could start. You get enough sense to know that you could start to perhaps get some idea of which symbols are more common, and you can see some symbols that keep coming up again. There's definitely a few that are definitely in combination. Like there's one that looks very like a serpentine. It's definitely got a serpentine air to it, but there's almost the way the other figures are written around it. Just that this is
it's all like at
important.
the start of every sentence, or like at the end of
Not
every
really start of every sentence. Whatever it represents seems to be given like almost like
Mentioned a lot.
pride of place on a wall or in a phrase or in a statement. Like this, whatever this symbol represents
The Great
is
Serpent.
important.
Just guessing
Yes.
because, yeah.
And there
I'll
are a
point this
couple of
out
other
to
symbols that
Franco.
have almost that level of importance. But again, I don't know
It's
what they
very
mean.
difficult. I'll point out what I've noticed to Franco as I'm going through it. And this will probably take a lot of work, but it's not impossible. It's just a lot of work.
When I'm back, I'm gonna look for that symbol, and then I'm gonna mark where these were in the cellar, like the room, right? So in case there's some weird stuff in like just a thought. In case it's weird. I mean, it is weird, but you know.
There's a couple of people I need to speak to try and make sense of some recent things. I need to chat to Dr. Peterson and my sister in regards to Earl Grey, because after the incident where he was murdered, I was actually in Europe for a number of months, so I haven't really had a chance to speak to my sister about the incident. So it'd probably be a good idea to speak with her. So I think I'll probably go and visit Dr. Peterson to see how he is first. I think it would be the closest place for me to go. So I'm not sure what everyone else has got planned. Franco, did you want to check on Miss Carter? Because she's wandering about and...
I mean, I can. I'm not sure if I can help, but I can check up on her. It just should probably maybe not really directly walk behind her because you know, of the being followed thing.
Well, then again, it might be worth trying to keep an eye out to see if that person's still following her.
Sure.
You might be able to get a better view from one of the upstairs windows. And I shouldn't be out long. I just want to have a quick chat to Dr. Peterson.
Yeah, I'll keep thinking about how to maybe drop some disinformation to get Augustus out of the binge that we brought him in. So, yeah. I'll be upstairs and I'll just walk.
And I shall leave and start to make my way to Dr. Peterson. I think it was at the medical college he was at, or...
I think it's... Hopefully I wrote down which hospital he was at. But if
I
not...
think it's not too far away, but it was a
I
hospital.
would say
or a
it's
medical
University College, like University Hospital, but I may just be making up non-existent hospitals now. Hold one moment. Victor Peterson. I did not write it down. The hospital nearby to be looked up shortly.
Yes. The hospital he's at, I'll head towards.
So as you head over to the hospital, and so Maddie, you're upstairs. What did you say? You can hear
I'm pacing the entire estate inside
Okay, so
So
you're
I'll go
pacing
up
around the
and
house.
down the hallways, down the stairs, both in the front and in the servants' areas. Eyes pretty much glazed over. It takes a few times for anyone to get her attention, long enough for her to respond to what they need, want, say. She's not entirely with it right now.
Maddie. Hey, do you think it might be the person you dreamt of? Like, you know, when you dreamt of us not being there, even though I was sleeping there, and I'm really good at waking up usually. You know, the person that was talking to you back then. You think they just show up and we can't see him, but you can?
Keeper. Does the stranger following me, is it the man from my dream?
You're not sure. Trying to remember his face is very difficult. You could see it clear at the time, but now whenever you try to think back to it, you can't remember what he looked like. His face just slips and slides out of your mind. You're sure you're almost certain he definitely had a face.
I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna help you look for him. Do you know how it looked like?
A large overcoat, a top hat.
That's a start. And I'm just gonna go and check the different windows on the top floor and look outside and try to find somebody matching that description.
Okay, so as you
You
go round from window to window, there's no sign of any man matching that description.
No, I'll keep going. And, you know, back in my mind, start thinking about how to get Augustus out of the issue that I put him in.
Okay. Meanwhile, Mortimer heads over to the hospital and down the staircases into the cool, formaldehyde-scented world of the morgue. And you can see the walls lined with drawers, big slab open, and you can hear someone muttering away somewhere, their voice echoing through the halls like, yes, curious. Curious.
When I arrive at the door to the room where I hear the voice, I'll knock on the door.
1 moment. Hang on. Dr. Davenport.
Victor, how have you been?
What are the lights?
It has been a long
He just
time.
shuts the door quickly behind him.
Have you been busy?
Oh, not too busy. Anyway, let's go down this way. I can have a chat in my office. You don't want to go in there.
Oh, that bad. What's in there?
Oh, unfortunate carriage collision.
Yeah, I don't want to go in there.
Yeah, not pleasant at all.
No,
How have things been with you? Any exciting jars to give me?
Not anymore. That was a very strange story behind those.
When did you find those? I mean, I went through them. It was quite interesting, but I possibly have a few questions.
Ask away.
Where did you get them from?
There was a case that was being investigated, and they turned up on in like a derelict property in a cupboard.
Ah, interesting.
It was rather strange. I was surprised to encounter them and thought, rather than leave them in this empty building, to get them out there and have a look at them, because
So you've not been engaged in any grave robbing then?
No. I would not do that sort of thing.
Just checking.
I
no shame if you are. Sometimes, it's...
I've not had an
the medical
opportunity
profession is built upon it.
It's very true, but
I wouldn't be here
I've
today.
not actually had an opportunity to have a proper look at the jars myself. I only had a short time before dropping them off with yourself, because I thought it'd be a bit of a strange puzzle for you. I don't know even how many bodies there are, what parts they are, and
Can't be certain. It looks to be parts from at least half a dozen different people, just based on different decomposition and sizing, and the number of eyeballs.
Yeah.
But I can't be entirely sure.
Could you tell if they were done like surgically, like a skilled physician, perhaps, or whether they were fresh or old, or
not fresh? I think before they were in preserving fluid, but they were starting to decompose before that. They weren't.
That's why you asked about the grave robbing.
Yeah, I think wherever these came from, they weren't fresh bodies, or someone was doing a bad job at preserving them.
It could be either or both. I don't know.
The most concerning thing, though, was there was a hand in one of the jars. Definitely a human hand, with some portions of the flesh missing. And, but this bite marks, which
would they match that strange?
No, these are bite marks consistent with something with much blunter teeth, something much more
human. Now that makes me even more worried, because it means there's another person.
Well,
or something.
From the looks of it, you've got at least one grave robbing cannibal here, which is somewhat concerning, to say the least.
Yeah, that's something I'll have to look into and see if we can, find out a bit more information. I'd hoped they were simply, I don't know what I hoped, is the honest answer. I just found them and thought, this is weird. And I didn't want to leave them in that property.
That's fair enough. Fair enough indeed. I was curious, but there's not much else I can...
Well, to be fair, if there's no more information you can get from them and you've had a look at them, feel free to just... actually... I'd say you could probably just dispose of them, destroy them, or get rid of the ones you wish. But it might be worth keeping that one with the bite marks, in case we come across someone or something that could tie in with.
Well, I'll leave it in the jar where it is currently.
Because that might at least give us a link to something else, should we find something strange like that. I'll have a look into that. It's all a bit worrying, really, because that creature that was killed in Highgate was living off the corpses.
Right, yes.
That's. I assumed that might have been when you mentioned the bite marks. I thought perhaps this is somehow tied in with that, but it's something else.
Well, given that this hand was in a jar, it looks like someone took a bite out of it and stuck it back in the jar.
Okay, that's a bit, gross.
Yes.
Anyway, change the subject. Have you found anything interesting over the last few months?
Interesting.
I'm just curious.
I found all sorts of interesting. I found a man with a beautifully enlarged spleen the other day. I've never seen anything like it. Really quite spectacular. I suspect that's not the kind of interesting that you're talking about here.
No, I suspect not. But
Yeah.
well, it's been a long time since I've been in London. I've been away for a few months.
No, nothing. Nothing along your lines that's sprung out to me as a matter of your concern. I mean, we have
Very-
a lot of bodies pulled out the Thames, trying to match them up with missing people, that manner of things. But that's ordinary, really, for London. Nothing above and beyond the usual.
Very true. If you hear of anything strange, feel free to contact the London Esoteric Society. I'm sure they'll be interested if it's that sort of strange.
Oh, I will do. And if you ever need a body that needs taking a look at, you know where to find me.
Exactly. I should really leave you to get back to your work. Sorry for bothering you, but
Yes.
it was nice to catch up a little bit.
It's great to see you again. I've got to. Well, anyway, we can talk next time. I've got a little idea.
Oh well, I'll better make my escape. Hope you have a good day.
You too. You too.
Shake his hand and make my leave.
Okay. Where are you headed next?
I've been putting this off, but I'm going to have to talk to my sister.
Okay. So, as Mortimer heads over to his sister, we hop on over back to the society where James has made Miles comfortable in one of the guest rooms. He definitely looked in need of a lie down, and it's a quiet time in a darkened room. But Maddie, are you still pacing about the place?
Not about the entire place. I've reduced it down to the library or my personal room, depending on my mood. I think at this moment I'm in the library, pacing.
Okay. And Franco?
I will have continued to, look outside while thinking about how to save the friend of my brother's. And started scribbling notes about other, let's call them undesirable elements of society. In a bar, being overheard, trying to frame Mr. Green, and trying to prepare like a piece of paper that you could leave as an anonymous tip to the police.
Okay.
That wouldn't actually sound too trying to match like an uneducated person, basically trying to sound a bit and tinkering around and trying to keep his mind straight on the task and not getting some weird occult tips in there.
I think in lieu of any skill for... Essentially, this is the written version of fast talk. I'm going to ask for a fast talk roll, even though this is in written form, but I think that's still the best skill I can think of for it, unless you can think of a better one.
I'd be fine with fast talk.
For how good... Okay. You're making a good job at this. You think there's some plausible elements here?
I guess that's plausible enough.
And as you're sort of part with you, there's a frantic knock at the door.
I'll go down. Is James opening up?
James was just upstairs getting Miles settled in.
Sure, I'll open the door.
You see standing in the doorway a frantic-looking young man clutching a newspaper in one hand. I believe you have met Cecil Abernathy briefly before at the party, like a few
Possibly.
sessions ago. But Is Irene in? Or Miss Carter?
Miss Carter's here?
Right.
Sure.
Where is she? Where can I find... Yeah.
I mean, sure, come in. I've seen that person, so yeah, maybe okay, good. I'm gonna go, just go to the parlor. I'm gonna get her.
Yes.
Maddie? I'll walk upstairs trying to find her again. As she's still pacing around the house.
In the library.
Oh. We have a visitor. Not sure about what it's about, but...
Oh, okay, who?
The guy from the party. Forgot the name. Would you just come down? Really need to do that better.
Okay. Yes.
So, let's go. I'll just walk down.
Is Maddie following?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of a little bit slower, but is following.
Okay, as you head up to the parlor, as you enter the parlor, Cecil sort of thrusts this newspaper sort of in your face with the of Earl Grey's murderer apprehended on it. He goes, have you seen this? Maddie, have you seen this? I mean, Miss Carter.
In past, I haven't read it yet.
They're saying that Dr. Lake killed Lucy. That monster.
Was he the one who was trying to court her the same time you were?
Yeah, him and the American, Carlisle. But she must have turned him down too. I still
Didn't
can't
she
believe...
turn everybody down?
Yes, she turned Carlisle down too. But to think that... It's just... It's not fair. Lucy was... She was one of the most sweetest, kindest, loveliest people I ever met. I think that he would...
And it looks like there will be justice.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some people have a rage that comes upon them when they don't get what they want.
Sorry, everyone's always... They're all talking about Earl Grey, so that's... I mean... Half of them have forgotten Lucy. Like, it's all about Earl Grey because he was healthy and powerful, and she gets a brief mention in some of them, but mostly just because it's there. But I think if it was Dr. Lake that did it, it was about Lucy. It wasn't about Earl Grey.
Perhaps the Earl got in the middle of it, and that's what happened.
I mean, maybe we should write a proper piece about her. I mean, we can get that published. Pretty sure.
Well, I need... He needs to hang for this. Like, they're talking about sort of sending him to his own asylum, and I think he can get away with that.
No, he shouldn't go to his own asylum. Wait, wasn't he the one who was... Wasn't he treating Mr. Belfont?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yes.
And that family was half mad as well. Perhaps he caught what they had, of some degree.
Perhaps. So I had to come. I was looking. I mean, I've needed. I guess
I understand.
Someone to talk to about this. Like, you. Yeah, he kind of looks over at Franco. You were around. You were there at the party when Lucy was there.
Yeah, she was a wonderful young woman. And to be frank, we're all quite, I don't think that anybody was less infatuated, I guess. I mean,
Didn't you say, and I'm going to turn to Franco, didn't you say he was quite aggressive with her when they left? You had stepped outside for a breath of air and saw them leave, and he was aggressive with her.
I mean, yeah. He was saying something to the effect of being her doctor and wanting the best for her. Meaning...
But he had his hands on her. Yes? No?
I'm thinking of writing to the judges, saying what I've seen, and hopefully they'll take that into consideration. I mean, I didn't know Dr. Lake well, but I knew Lucy, and
you saw the behavior at the party.
Yes. Yes. Are you all right, Maddie? You look a little what's the word? Are you all right?
I've quite a headache.
I didn't even know you were back in London.
I came back for the Egyptian art exhibit that was being held a few weeks ago, whenever it was held.
Okay. Whenever you've got some time, not today, but if you wouldn't mind dropping by the office, there's just a few bits of legal and financial matters I just wouldn't mind you and Lady Irene looking over at some point with regards to all the instructions on the house and everything.
Very well.
According to your late uncle's requests and wishes. 5 years having gone by, I need to attest that you are doing your duties to the estate with regards to the very specific instructions he left.
Yes. Shall we set an appointment for Tuesday next week?
Excellent. I mean, it's just a matter of formality. I mean, I don't really know how one proves you are combating threats of unknown terrorists.
Mm-hmm. Well, considering I'm not
so.
feeling well at this time, it is best that I have it on a schedule so that I don't miss it, regardless of how I am feeling.
Yes. Tuesday. Would you like to, I mean, I can come here or you can come over to my offices, whichever best suits you. And Irene.
Whichever would be preferred.
Okay. Well, I'll telegram over and send over with details.
Thank you.
I have letters to write.
Would you afford a fighting drink before you leave?
I would love one. Yes.
I will get up and I will find, I believe, a scotch nearby and pour it.
I hope you're feeling better soon. If you need more time off at the country estate, then I can always travel up there if needed. Don't feel like you have to stay on the account of business matters.
Thank you. We will see what the next few days bring. I might have to retire to the country estate again. Here's your drink. I think I shall go and rest a while. Have a great evening. Mr. Bernice, if you could see him out.
Sure, no problem.
And Maddie's going to excuse herself to her room, where she will lock the door, close the curtains, light all the candles, and start knitting.
Okay. As Maddie excuses herself and as Franco shows Mr. Albanathi out the house, and Mortimer heads over to visit his sister. I think this is a good point to go to break. Partly because I need to sort my lighting. We'll see you in 10. And we're back. So, as Franco comes up with alibis and obituaries, and Maddie struggles not to sleep. Go back just a couple of hours before Maddie's trying to not to go to sleep, to Mortimer as he arrives over at the house of his sister, Lady Catherine Ward. Getting my name's correct. And yeah, you're shown through into like the summer drawing room where your sister is there. She's been doing some watercolors, and she's not the greatest. She's not very good at watercolors, but she likes to do a few.
That's the important thing.
Yeah. Mortimer, darling.
It's been too long. How have you been? Well, that's a bad question, I can guess.
Not
I've
too
just
bad,
read
all
today's
things
paper.
considered. Oh yes. Sorry. How was Europe? How are your travels?
Oh, now this is where it's interesting. I've been looking into starting up business again.
Oh, I see.
That is,
What prompted that?
I was bored, is the honest answer.
Mortimer.
But it'll be mostly legal this time.
Good, because there's that pesky Scottish fellow sniffing around all over the place.
Yes, Morgan McCrashley. I believe he's a very honest person.
Oh, they're the worst.
Exactly. But he's a decent fellow and a hell of a shot. But basically, whilst I was travelling around Europe, I spent some time visiting harbour masters, seeing about setting up some sort of network regards import, export, that sort of thing. As to what is imported and exported, doesn't necessarily have to be anything illegal. It's just setting up a network and a trade network.
Well, antiques and antiquities are all the rage at the moment.
Exactly, that is what I'm looking into.
Did you get a chance to go to an exhibit at the Royal Academy they'd had on Leighton held Egyptian works?
I did, yes.
Very fashionable at the moment. If you've got any connections out to Egypt, I can ask a few discreet questions around, see if anyone's interested in making purchases, if you'd like.
Yes, go for it, by all means. I've established connections in most of the colonies where the British Empire spread to. Egypt happens to be one of them. China, India, and the Far East as well.
Spread the web wide, and I'm sure we'll find something with.
But I've focused more on...
Just dragging me back in, Mortimer. So easy.
But this will be legitimate business, antiques and antiquities, and interesting books. So it is an official thing. I spoke to a number of book dealers throughout Europe as well, and academics at some of the institutes, and it was a rather interesting, relaxing trip. But, this was dreadful news about Archie, though.
Oh, yes, awful business, and poor Lucy. I'm glad they found the man responsible. Always the doctor of theirs was wrong.
Well, I'll tell you this. I was visiting Highgate. I was visiting Sarah and David's graves. And whilst I was in Highgate, I heard some voices raised, because the Vane estate runs next to Highgate. And I couldn't quite make out the voices. So I wandered over to casually eavesdrop, as you do. and it was Percy and Dr. Lake were having an argument. And all I saw, because I wandered towards the gates, I could see through the gates, and Dr. Lake had dragged Lucinda Vane into a carriage and drove off with her, whilst Percy, I believe he actually may have fallen to his knees. He was crying his eyes out.
Poor Percy.
So I wasn't quite sure what to do, so I spoke to Archie. I spoke with him at one of his gentleman clubs, I believe, or the regular club he goes to. And I spoke to him about it. I arose the matter with him, trying to, well, he's a godfather after all at the end of the day. And he's someone we can talk to about anything, really. And I mentioned to him about what happened with Dr. Lake and Lucinda Vane, and he told me he would deal with the matter. So it would not surprise me if he then travelled to Dr. Lake's sanatorium. I think is it in Brighton? I can't remember.
I have no idea.
I don't believe it's in London, but I believe he may have done something which may have been what started this. I don't know.
Yes, well, let's just hope we can close this whole awful business.
There was one thing I wanted to mention as well. Should you hear of who inherits Archie's properties?
Oh, you remember Cousin Silas? No, you probably haven't seen him much recently. Not on our side of the family. Well, he's not really our cousin at all. He's one of Cousin Archie's cousins on his other side of the family.
Yes.
Silas Bennett. I think you've met him twice, maybe?
Possibly, but
not a very memorable chap, to be honest.
No, but could you speak to him again? It may be worth mentioning that if he requires someone to perhaps value any unusual antiques or books he may have, I'm quite happy to do them at a discounted rate. You'd say even a family rate, practically.
I heard he'd got someone in, actually. Well, this is only what I heard. There was a fellow came round to the estate only a couple of days ago. Odd name. A doctor? No. Mr. Patton? I've got his cards somewhere. He said he'd been reviewing Cousin Archie's effects with Silas and was also interested in having a look and valuing some of the collection I have here. I said, no, obviously I don't want anyone examining the collection. You know.
I've heard that name before, but I cannot remember where from.
I've got his cards somewhere. I think he's got a little place over in Bloomsbury, not too far from your place. Here we go. Harley. Yes, Dr. Harley Patton.
It's just strange. The name just sticks in my mind. It's something I remember that name. But then again, it could be just through another academic, more than likely, or it could even be that recent Egypt event I went to at the Royal Academy.
Yeah, he was particularly interested in Egyptian artifacts.
But,
so maybe a good
way,
contact if you're trying to reopen the lines of sale.
Very good point. I'll probably have to speak to him at some point, but feel free to offer my services as well. I'm not that familiar with his work, Archie's collection as such, but I didn't know he had a collection.
I didn't really know he had a collection as such, no. But it seems, yes, the necklace along. Oh, that reminds me, the necklace I helped him get. Apparently, it's missing.
I'd heard something about that necklace.
Oh, yes?
I believe it went missing from a museum in Egypt.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Of course you wouldn't.
I was just, helping ship it for a friend.
Yes, of course. But the necklace has gone missing from Archie's collection? Or is it just
apparently it wasn't there in the effects. Silas wrote to me asking if I knew anything. I said I knew nothing.
Now, I find it suspicious in that I wouldn't have thought Archie would have made a record of that necklace.
Oh, yes, he made a record of having it. It wasn't there.
I'm just curious. Was this necklace acquired before Arabella passed away?
Afterwards.
I was just wondering whether she may have been wearing said necklace when she was buried.
No. This is the one I got not too long ago.
Oh.
No.
So I'll keep an eye out and my ear to the ground and see if I hear anything about that. If I'm dealing with antiquities and that sort of thing relating to Egypt, it's very likely that's going to crop up in conversation.
Yes, well, or probably just some opportune thief nabbed it off out of his collection before it got accounted. You know what people are like, sticky fingers.
Very possibly after his death was announced, someone may have took it as an opportunity and done so then.
Well, it's not mine, so I can't really. I mean, I'm not too bothered what cousin Silas gets or doesn't get. Like, very boring fellow. Could put you to sleep just by breathing. If you get the option to, avoid talking to him. Anyway, I just
thought it'd be good to catch up a little bit.
Yes, I want to just finish these water lilies before I lose the rest of the
It's certainly
light.
a nice piece of work. I've never had the talent myself.
If I'm being honest, I'm not sure I have the talent, but...
But do you enjoy it?
I do, yes.
And that is the important thing, is that you enjoy it. It's a hobby you enjoy.
Yes, exactly, like you and minor criminality.
Well, it's interesting. It's fun. But emphasis on the minor.
Yes, the minor. Oh, well, it was lovely to catch up.
Yes, it is. Very likely this is going to be a legitimate business interest.
Excellent. Well, darling, it was wonderful to see you again.
Yourself and enjoy your painting, and I shall make my leave, I guess. It's best.
Okay. As you take your leave, and as afternoon winds into evening, and evening blurs into night, Maddie, I'd like you to make me a constitution roll, please. See if you can keep your eyes open.
That's a 100. That's a complete fumble.
Complete fumble indeed. As your knitting needles slip from your hand, slump down into sleep. And you find yourself standing in a stone chamber. The walls are decorated with the image of a procession of figures, these jackal-headed figures marching down each side of the walls towards an empty throne that stands at the end of the room. And you can see standing before this stone are these 4 stone pillars, each with this strange sort of reddish crystal set on the top of it. And you hear behind you sort of the grinding of stone of a door slamming shut, echoing throughout the chamber.
Am I put into mind the painting, the red pyramid?
Somewhat, yes. It's definitely Egyptian in styling and decoration.
I'm going to turn around to see who or what shut the door.
Behind you, you just see this sheer stone wall, no evidence of a door. And you hear a voice from what is now behind you, sort of the front of the room with the throne. I wouldn't worry about that, Maddie. This is just a dream. Doors wouldn't help you here.
I am going to slowly turn around and face where the voice is coming from.
And you see the crystals on the pillars have flared into life, and there's a figure seated on the throne. Hazy and indistinct, and shrouded in sort of shadows and darkness. Still humanoid. You sort of tip this almost face towards you and make out a vague suggestion of eyes and a mouth in there. But none of the features seem fixed or certain. So, Maddie. You've had an interesting day, I see. An interesting couple of days. Have you had time to think on our discussion?
Not really, no.
No? You didn't think
No.
it worth the time of your mind?
Other things were happening, as you said it was busy. Are you the one who followed me?
Why would I have to follow you? I'm always
You had
here
somebody
with you.
follow you.
I have no need to have anyone do anything.
Then who was following me?
I have no idea. Are you sure anyone was following? You cannot trust your own mind, Maddie. You know that, right?
What do you want?
What do I want? I want to help you. I want to offer you a second chance. You have so much potential. You could do so much, and yet it's all to be wasted as your mind slides into chaos and you fear to actually use any of the gifts you have.
So you want my mind?
I don't want your mind. I want you to be yourself. I want you to shine. I want you to be the best that you could be.
What do you want in exchange? Nothing's free.
No, only a small service. And not now. I do not need you yet. For now, we can consider this a gift. And then, when the time comes, you will have a part to play in something very important. A role of such importance, few have held it over the long eons of your kind. Which one that is most vital to their plans, to their needs and their desires. But don't worry, your life will not be in danger. You will be safe. You are far too precious for me to have any desire to kill you. If that is what you're afraid of.
No, I'm not afraid of death.
No? What are you afraid of then? You hesitate. You always hold back. What do you fear, Maddie?
Besides the obvious?
The dark? The dark is nothing to be feared. Dark is merely an absence
Hides the
of
unknown.
light. The unknown. Is that what you're afraid of? If that's what you're afraid of, I can give you knowledge. Understanding. A power to overcome the dark, to have no fear of it anymore. So that things of the dark They look on you in fear. They see you and they stumble back, frightened and cowering before you. You have no need to fear the dark. No?
What do
Or
you
is it
mean?
something else you fear?
There are many things that can be feared and should be feared. Besides the unknown.
Are you afraid of me, Maddie?
I don't know who you are.
I gave you a few names last time. People have given me many names. Names are unimportant things. You can consider me a guide, an intermediary, a representative of those you have reached out to before.
So any deal that's you bring is on their behalf. Then what do they want?
What they want is beyond your comprehension. Your mind could not... Were you to gaze upon them, your mind would not be able to comprehend it, would not be able to withstand it. Were you even to see my true form, I fear your mind would be broken beyond any repair. What? The deal is on their behalf, but I assure you the deal is with me. I have the power to grant what you desire. I have the power to give you control of your mind back, to give you power and strength you did not hold before. I do not have to go crawling to the others to give this power. I can do this on my behalf.
So this deal is yours.
This deal is mine.
But I become a tool, not only yours, but theirs?
In some way, we are all tools of theirs. The world is but a dream of theirs.
And whose tool am I now, without this agreement?
None. You are but a wasted potential. Something to be cast aside and forgotten, unused. Slip
What about
into
the innocence?
Madness and obscurity.
What about the innocents? The ones who know nothing?
What about them?
Are you going to stop me from protecting them?
What you do with the powers I grant you is your own choice.
Will you have me harm them?
No. No, why would I care what you do with them? Do you care for the scuttling of ants or the buzzing of flies around you? They're nothing. To you or to me. You need not concern yourselves with them. Look,
This deal is to make my mind my own again?
Yes. And to fortify your mind against the damages of calling upon the powers which you hold.
And what about learning new things?
Oh, if there's new things to learn, there are things I can teach you. But if that is what you wish.
Yes. Yes. I want to protect the innocents, and I can't do it with my mind. mere slivers of what it used to be.
Okay. Then, Miss Martha Carter, I accept your offer of service. I shall grant you control of your mind returned, your wits returned, your power restored. And in return, when the time comes, you, or one in your place, shall do me service in return.
Yes.
We will meet again one day soon. But of that, you can be assured. For now, rest. Sleep assured that you have nothing to fear from me or from any other. At least not this night. And with that, the room dissolves away and you slip into a peaceful and dreamless sleep. Franco, as it grows later, as you finish your writing, as the light dims, are you sleeping at the society tonight?
I think since writing took quite the time, I will be. Yeah.
Okay. So it's quite late by the time you head up to your room. And as you do, you feel all the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. The
Turn around.
temperature of the house just seems to drop a little, and you see the shadows stretching longer, of reaching out towards you for a moment before they shy back. And you hear a little whisper in the back of your mind. I accept your service. And then the immediate presence is gone, but still something lingers in the air in the house. Some dark presence remains.
Okay. I'm starting to think did I promise fealty to somebody? I'm sitting on my bed, unnerved, and think. It'll probably take a while until I sleep.
And so you slip down into dreams of your own. And I'm not going to ask for a power roll from you tonight, because whatever it is that lurks in your dreams, you are, for now, shielded from under this roof. Under a watchful and, well, I was going to say protective gaze, a watchful gaze. So, we come forward to the next morning as you wake restored of an extra hit point if anyone lost any. I can't remember
Yeah.
if anyone actually got injured that night. And I will I will go over some of the finer details of stats-wise what Maddie has gained here. But essentially, For now, you can consider yourself returned to 45 sanity. There may be some catches. For now, you are no longer indefinitely insane. You wake up feeling sort of... Your mind is your own in a way it has not been for years. And yet, in some ways, it is most definitely not. But morning comes, light streaming in through your window, and a warm summer breeze. Mortimer, I assume you're over at your own house?
Yes, after seeing my sister, I probably would have returned, depending on how late in the evening it was when I got back. If it is late, then I would have just returned to my own place of business. If it's earlier, I would have gone to the society, but...
Yeah, let's say it was late for the... But yeah, it's up to you if you want to head over this morning, or if you have other business to attend to.
I don't think I've got any business that needs to be attended to at the society. So chances are I'll probably just carry on having a look through that book. I've got the Cult Steggles. I'll be looking up...
some lovely light reading.
I'll just have a look at the resurrection ritual details.
Yeah, as you start to pour through, essentially it involves rendering a body down to its essential salts and reconstituting it from that. The actual details are complicated and would require time to gather the exact materials necessary. But
just some light reading at breakfast time.
yes, some little light playing with corpses. A little bit of morning necromancy. But yeah, as Mortimer sat reading over his No Longer Bound in Skin book, and Franco and Maddie, not Frankie and Maddo is the Bizarro twist version, wake up over at the society. Essentially, if anyone has anything they want to do either today or in the following week or so, let me know.
No, just to keep the appointment that she made with Abernathy. Maddie's in a good mood. She's dressed. She's up. She's actually got some energy. She eats a hearty breakfast. And I think she continues to go over her book and Monsters and Their Kind and reorganize after transcribing.
Maddie? Did something happen yesterday evening?
I had a good sleep.
Whatever you did to have that sort of good sleep, I needed to. And also, I had some weird shadow things happen yesterday evening, and suddenly you're there like nothing ever happened.
I mean, I'm still concerned that somebody is following me, but I think after my rest, I've realized it might have been all in my mind.
I mean, yeah, you're so bright. Not that that's a bad thing, but
I feel as if I've purged something from my mind.
Oh.
You might want to take up knitting. I've been doing that, and it's helped.
You think so?
You've seen my scarf. Well, it's not a scarf anymore, but I might have to turn it into a blanket. That's how long it is.
Sure. Sure. Okay. I'll keep looking suspiciously at Maddie because of my experiences yesterday evening and Maddie suddenly being fine
I
as
mean,
far
you
as
can
I can tell.
make me your choice of a. Actually, make me both a sanity and a psychology roll.
Okay, a psychology roll? That's an extreme success. And the sanity roll is a failure.
Who knows whether what you saw was real or not? But what you do know is Maddie seems a lot better. Like, she just seems like she's doing a lot better than she was. Like, she
Got a good night's rest.
Yeah, genuinely, in so many ways, she looks healthier and healthy. And I mean, this is almost a different Maddie to the Maddie you've met and known. This is like much more. I'm trying to think of the correct words, but the former Maddie was but a shell of what this woman is. This is a vast improvement in her whole mental state.
I see. Okay. I mean, I'm glad that you're better. This is disturbing.
Why is it disturbing? I actually got a good night's rest last night. No nightmares of any sort.
That's wonderful. I've never seen, all the time that we know each other, I've never seen you that wholesome, healthy, put together.
Beg your pardon.
I'm not trying to like you were carrying something heavy the entire time and just put it away today.
As I said, I had no nightmares last night.
Oh, okay.
I have been plagued with nightmares for many years now.
That's good news then. That's good news.
You had documents, drawings.
Hey, try.
I never took a look at them. Yesterday I was so disturbed by being followed. I couldn't bother to look into anything.
I mean, that's understandable. 1 minute. I'm gonna grab and I'm just documents. Irrelevant. The worries right now, irrelevant documents. And I'll just start spreading out the different papers, the notes that I took, the notes that Dr. Davenport took, and just start talking about that we think that this is some sort of important concept, maybe a person, maybe a god, maybe anything, right? Maybe just like a specific thing you do, who knows? And just point to where the way it's clustered, and this is where it didn't get further here, because of the smoke, but I'm gonna get back. I think the firefighters should be done with extinguishing it now. So
I would say wait another day or two.
Another day or two?
Mm-hmm. You don't know if the police will be looking around the housing area to see what might have caused that fire. Yeah. And at that point, I do want to look into the documents and the drawings and the writing.
Okay.
And see if I can determine anything.
Make me an intelligence roll as you look it over. You can see that these.
Okay.
These are drawings. Well, not so much drawings. It's pictogram. So my linguistics not pictographs. I think might be the right word.
Pictographs.
In a language you do not understand. some of them are assembled around each other, the way that Franco's pointing out that might indicate importance of certain elements, but you don't understand what any of the symbols mean.
Keeper, where's the Rosetta Stone?
I believe it might have made it to the British Museum by now. It's definitely been discovered. Please hold whilst I check the current location of the Rosetta Stone. What year are we in? Yes, I believe it is in the British Museum.
I am going to, at that point, try to make a cleaner copy of his documents, and then I'm going to take it with me to the museum to try to decipher with the Rosetta Stone.
I mean, I said it was like doing it without the Rosetta Stone. It's not actually a language on the Rosetta Stone.
Still worth the attempt.
Yes, because the Rosetta Stone only covers like Greek, hieroglyphs, and I can't remember what the middle language is. I think it's Coptic or something.
Something. Still worth an attempt.
Okay, yep. As you head on over, you spend some time at the British Museum, but unfortunately, no luck in the translations. None of the inscriptions there are in this language. Whatever this language is, it doesn't seem to be one that has been discovered or known about or widely written about or written about at all. This is a new discovery, a new unknown ancient language. Or one that someone's just made up. But I don't think that Con Langen invented languages has quite caught on as a subject yet, so I'm not sure if that would be something that would cross Maddie's mind or not. I don't know. Maybe. Either this is an ancient language no one knows about, or someone's just made it up.
Language is not Maddie's area of expertise.
But
Though she knows several languages, it's not her area of expertise. So that's fine.
Yeah, so Maddie's got a visit to the lawyer. Is there anything else people want to wrap up? Sort of any last bits and pieces they want to resolve?
Mortimer will probably return to the society at some point, either the following morning or within the next few days, just to provide a bit of an update on what he's found out.
Okay, so is this just passing on? It's
information about the body parts and jars, I think. You'll probably just relay that information to who's present about the evidence of cannibalism. It's very likely he'll mention about that necklace. The necklace of Nitocris wasn't found amongst Earl Grey's belongings.
Are you mentioning to the other investigators the reason why it wasn't found amongst his belongings?
No. Nobody saw me take it, so I'm keeping that locked up because at least until I know what it does. Which actually, I would like to have a look through Pulse de Gauls to see if there's any references or mentions of it, of the necklace in that book.
Okay. Reminder, you don't speak French. So this is
that's a
going to
very
be a
good
challenge
point.
still.
I've been working on it.
So yeah, make me a... This is going to be...
To be fair, any mention of Nitocris won't be in French, it's a name.
Nitocris crops up. You can see the name Nitocris. It's going to be a hard education roll to get anything out of this. You might get a little more as well if you get an extreme. No, the name Nitocris crops up a few times, but you don't speak French.
No problem. But yes, I'll probably relay the information to the other society members about how someone is looking into Earl Grey's property and valuing books and antiquities. I'll mention that. That's probably all I'll mention, to be fair.
Okay. So in which case, I think the main thing to resolve is, Franco, are you sending in your letters of your obituaries and alibi creation?
Exactly. I will probably have some street urchin drop off the letter at the police station to, maybe take some of the pressure off of Augustus and onto somebody else that is potentially rivaling names that I might have picked up. Not actually important too. And the otherwise, I would be just writing an obituary for the obituary. I would just publish that in my paper.
Okay.
But just.
And what are you doing about Miles Shipley? Are you just letting him head home to his half-burnt down house? Are you questioning him any further? Are you putting him up in the society? Because unless prompted, he kind of just seems to be hiding in one of your guest bedrooms. Like, James keeps putting like trays of food through the door and getting empty trays back, but essentially,
That seems like a stable situation.
I think, considering Maddie's better health, she would attempt to have him at least take 1 or 2 meals, maybe in a not super bright dining room, but not an overly dim dining room. Attempting to get him used to people again. How damaged was his house?
It will need severe repairs before it's livable again. The house was apparently in a bad condition before it caught fire, and a combination of the fire and water caused things to collapse into the basement. It's going to need a lot of repairs.
I will tell him, you are welcome to reside here until the repairs of your house have been made. Else, if you wish to find a new lodging, which would you prefer?
I could stay here, if you don't mind.
I do think
scones
that
are delicious.
James found a lovely cook for us. Wonderful. Have you attempted to be social outside of with us residing here?
It wasn't that. It might be out there. And there's things out there. You didn't understand. There are things out there in London, in the world. There are dangerous things out there.
Yes, and it's my job and my associate's job to remove those things, to make it safer for people who do not understand or do not know.
So it's safe?
Your home will be. It needs to be repaired extensively. Do you have the funds to repair it?
No. I didn't handle any of the money. I don't know where the money went.
In that
and all
case,
my paintings were destroyed in the house, and all my paints and canvases, and I don't really.
Well, we could provide more paints, canvases, your supplies we can provide, but you will have to have the money to repair your home, which means you will have to take commissions, and that means speaking with people on a social engagement.
I'm talking to you now, right? Aren't I?
What was that?
I'm talking to you. I can talk to people. I can do people. Right? Yeah, people.
A small gathering. Perhaps maybe we can make arrangements for some of your former clients to see if there's anything that they'd like commissioned.
Yeah, I probably need to paint up some examples first. An artist with no art is not very convincing.
Exactly.
I'm happy to give you a cut of commission for room and board, and at least for until I can get repairs done. Is that unless I'm intruding on you or
No.
family?
We will be glad to assist you until you're able to reside in your own again. If you do not wish to live here, we may see about renting a room somewhere for you, or renting a studio.
I don't want to cause you additional expense.
Well, then here shall be fine. You can use one of the other parlors that we have as a studio for your art.
Thank you.
Please let us know if you make any unusual art as you did before, or if you think that was caused by
There was
something else.
There was a tea.
It was the tea.
I don't know what was in it, but I saw things. And they felt so real, and when I painted them, they seemed so real. Like things that, not things from now. Things it felt old, like the things people were wearing, the way they spoke. It wasn't recent. It was like an echo of something long ago, but when I painted it in that state of mind, the paintings, they came out different. Does that make sense? I feel
Yes.
I'm talking nonsense. I sound quite insane, I suspect.
No. I understand. As I said, I deal with unusual things. Just let us know if anything unusual happens with your paintings again. We will not be feeding you whatever tea that you are receiving. As you know, James and our other servants here do not serve drugged food, nor is it bad food.
No, it's excellent food. Excellent. Thank you. You've been far more kind to me than I've deserved.
Everyone deserves to get back on their feet however it's needed.
And if you find anything about my mother, if you hear anything of her, I'm worried.
I haven't heard anything, but maybe one of the gentlemen have.
I'll ask them in the next round.
Well, we'll have James collect supplies for you in the morning, if you'd like. Or if you'd wish to accompany him to the market to fetch the paints that you prefer.
You can see him toing and froing between not wanting to go outside, but not trusting James to buy paint. The sort of
you might
expression.
want to go with, because he doesn't know what you prefer.
I'll see how I feel. I'll see. Maybe. But yes, the twitchy, nervous Miles now seems to be, at least for the time being, a fixture of this house, filling up one of the many spare bedrooms of this large London house. And yeah, he goes out with James to buy some paints and sets up a little studio to earn his keep for a short while whilst repairs on his house are being funded, and he will corner Franco and Mortimer. My mother, have you heard anything from her? Maddie suggested you might have heard from her?
I've not heard anything or seen anything. I'm just worried whether there's and whether she was in the house. I don't think she could have been because
No,
we didn't hear.
she wasn't. That wasn't her. That was something pretending to be her.
Oh, that was, yes. But
So
the focus might be best at the moment to focus on getting yourself on your feet, your property looked at, repaired, and those sort of things. And I'm not sure whether the police are aware of anything to do with it. It might be worth. I don't know. I don't think I've heard anything about her, but we can carry on looking and asking.
Thank you. Oh, do you want any paintings? Anyone who might want a painting?
I may know a number of people who are interested in paintings. My sister's Lady Catherine Ward, so she may know a number of people who are interested in some new paintings.
Right, yes. And
I could grab my brother and sister and we try for one.
out of character, I'm not sure your family has the funds to start commissioning painting.
I might.
You might.
But yeah, Mortimer may know people, or his sister may know people who are interested in an artist to have some work done. And he is not an unknown artist. He has done some pieces of work that have been on display.
Oh yes,
So-
he's known. Yes. Okay.
You never know.
Start setting up some connections. Well, as things are set in motion, books are being read, research is being done. Tuesday comes around, and Maddie, you have a meeting with the family lawyer, Cecil Albanathy.
I am doing well enough. I'll send a message to him saying that I'll meet him in his office.
Maddie, good to see you. You're looking well.
Thank you. I was ill. I am much better now.
Thank you. Right, this is just mostly a formality. Under the slightly strange conditions your great uncle, Sir John, left when he left the house not just to you really, but to all those involved with his work. So, if you remember, the conditions are that you left the assets in the promise that you're using the assets of the houses of Grosvenor Square and Haleywood and all their contents to help understand arcane and esoteric matters and to combat unknown terrors. Now, I don't know how as a lawyer I prove with you have or have not been doing that. I mean, this will is on shaky legal ground anyway.
Well, I haven't heard from Mr. Porter in quite a while, and I believe Detective Shaw has been quite busy elsewhere.
I mean, I could discuss trying to get them removed from the trust if you and Lady Irene agree, and if I agree, and we... Yes.
I think it is more... We need to get in contact with them to see if they will be returning to the society or not, and at that point, figure out if they should be removed. As for the time being, Dr. Mortimer Davenport and Franco Bernice, they have been assisting with some of the arcane and the other matters that are left in the will. They have been assisting with that, as well as the private investigator,
Crashley.
Yes, McCrashley.
Well, under the terms of the dubious legal framework your uncle left, you are able to name others if you deem them well, I guess based on the plaque Irene put on the door, if they are part of the Esoteric Society, in a formal sense.
Well, I'm not sure if they hold a formal sense at the moment. I do know that they have assisted in more than one case. I guess that I shall have to speak with them and confirm that they would like a permanent or semi-permanent position.
Yes, well, if you would like them to be added to it, I can do so. That will give them some rights of ownership over the property and its contents, and some responsibility for the running of the estate, and funding the payment of servants, James and a few other staff members you have on, coachman, cook, and whatnot. I mean, as so far your uncle's accounts are in good condition, that the expenditure and the incomes from various investments seem to be well matched. You're not building much of a profit, but also it's not running into the estate's cash assets or anything just yet. I would, of course, make you aware if it ever became a concern, if the costs of the society were growing too high.
Yes, please do. And if there is anything that we might be able to do to earn a stable income as well.
I would, of course, not be so crass as to suggest you take employment, Miss Carter.
Yes, but I didn't. If we are to make sure that this estate, as well as the I'm sorry. I had a blank just then.
The society?
Yes, the society. Everything that the society owns currently, we do not want to go into debt. If there is anything that we may invest in or assist with to increase our income as a whole, rather than stay at the level we are at.
Oh, I can look into some options. I have some friends in the city. I can ask around. But yes, might I suggest you speak to the other gentleman and said, just let me know if you wish to make them formal additions.
I shall write you once I've spoken with them and made the decision.
Indeed. Well,
was there anything else concerning what we need to do to uphold
no,
will?
that is all. I've got a few bits of legal paperwork. So.
You needed signatures.
Yes, if we just... He starts passing across legal paperwork, and the discussion blurs more into boring legalese.
I do want to read through some of them before I sign them to make sure it's nothing weird.
Do you have any points in accounting?
I have 5 points in accounting.
Give me a roll.
Come on. Oh. I was expecting the one here.
No, that is a proper fail.
I mean, you don't really... there's nothing that stands out as awful, but you don't know enough about accountancy. You can make me also a law roll if you like, if you want to back it up with...
Law? I could roll that too.
Yeah.
It's the same level.
The little used skills of Cthulhu. No, you don't know enough about law or accounting to pick out anything in particular, but there's nothing a layman would see as odd. There's no, and here I promise to give, 1,000 guineas to Cecil Albernathi every week line. But yeah, you finish up your affairs at the lawyer's office, and as you head back to the society.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is Mortimer and Franco there? Are they there?
We could be. Chances are we pop in every now and again. You've got loads of books in your library. I'll probably be perusing, at the very least.
Well, in that case, I do want to have that conversation. Dr. Davenport and Mr. Bernice.
Yes.
This is a matter of legal. I have just been to speak with Mr. Abernathy, my family lawyer. My uncle, my great uncle, when he passed away, he wrote up a will for the London Esoteric Society, which resides within this house. I would like to know if you have an interest in becoming permanent members of this society.
What is the purpose of the society?
The purpose is to, and I will pull out a piece of paper that was part of the will, a copy of it. Promise that they will use the assets of the society to understand matters both arcane and esoteric, and to combat the threat of unknown terrors. Much as what you have been doing recently.
Makes perfect sense.
We've been doing it anyway, so what does that change now?
It just adds you into the legal matters. You would assist with ensuring that the estate doesn't fall into debts or any of the negative things that could happen. It ensures that the employees here are paid, that everything's kept up.
So we would be part of the estate then? But isn't that like
Trust? Yes.
Isn't that like your like inheritance?
It's a trust. If you would like, I can arrange a meeting with Mr. Abernathy, and he can go over all of this with you. Unfortunately, I did not take any courses in law.
I mean, do you think that is something we should be doing? Yeah.
I could always look over any business papers you want. I run my own business, so I'm familiar with some accountancy terms and the like. So I could always help with the accountancy side with running within the society if you wish. I could have a look through those.
Actually, that would probably alleviate a little bit of Mr. Abernathy's work.
Well, at least I could assist in it at the very least. Perhaps put the estate's records in a format that they can be passed on to him to deal with and keep a formal record of.
Mm-hmm.
There was something else I was considering as well. I've spent the last 4 months in Europe travelling around discussing matters with various book dealers, academics and experts in various fields. And I was looking at importing of antiques and antiquities. And I was considering that there's a number of esoteric items that are dangerous that are out there that could very easily fall into the wrong hands. So people wouldn't necessarily know what is dangerous, but I was looking into, well, basically importing antiquities that are quite popular at the moment. And it's sort of a new line of business for me, whether the society would be interested in getting involved with that. Basically, perhaps keeping hold of anything esoteric that comes in and selling the things that are popular and common, just as
not a danger.
And not a danger as a regular income and that sort of thing. Well, anything that we view as dangerous, esoteric, we could keep hold of ourselves and secure it. That's just something I was looking into.
I think that is a wonderful idea. We will have to sit down with Lady Irene to confirm this with her, as she is one of the original members of the London Esoteric Society, and is also named in the trust. Having her in agreement will be a good thing.
It all sounds good so far.
So, this is then official now.
Yes. Welcome to the London Esoteric Society. And barring, of course, Lady Irene's agreement, which we will have to double check with when she is available, it looks like the society is growing a little, gathering both new members and new acquaintances. You, on top of, anywhere between 2 to 5 members, you have your trusted servant James, you have the family lawyer Cecil, you have a reliable and ask no questions carriage driver / muscle in the form of Beau. You have Augustus Green to call upon should further muscle be required. You have an artist currently squatting in one of your spare bedrooms. You have sadly currently lost your contact with the police department, but you have a mortician you can call upon should bodies need looking at. And the society now embraces, you have a house in London, a country estate, a connection to a bookshop in Bloomsbury, ties into high London society, the world of journalism, the criminal underworld, high society, British museums, libraries, little threads into all sort of levels of society, connections into academia, or sorts of avenues where the strange and the unusual might reach your ears, which I think sets the society up for a very interesting place in the following months and years to come. I think that at this point we close the curtain on another chapter of the London Esoteric Society. We will, of course, be back next week. This is a chapter only in terms of internally, as the frantic events of 1887 come to a close. We've had cubes from outer space. We've had what was possibly a werewolf. We've had pacts made with eldritch beings that are definitely going to come back to haunt you. There's no maybe about that. Nothing is free, especially not getting your sanity back. We've had hints of several other cults active in London. We know there's the cult of Dagon. We know there's the Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh. There's events going on around corpse eating and grave robbing. And there are others lurking out in the shadows. Other secrets, other mysteries to unfold. And I think we will pick up with the adventures of the London Esoteric Society. Well, probably a year down the road from where we are currently, which will give our investigators a little time to get settled in their lives, to learn some French, to study some books, to learn some more dubiously dangerous spells, to embrace or ignore the call of the deep. We'll have to come back to that and see what's going on there. In general, I think it'll be very interesting to see where these characters are going in the future. And because I have actually finished reasonably on time for once, without frantically running at the last minute, with everyone madly shooting each other and the house burning down, I think I'll just, so to those of you still here in chat, what happens at the end of a chapter of Call of Cthulhu? So, the big thing, whenever we sort of reach a natural sort of point of a break in the story, perhaps, a week time skip, a month time skip, we do what's called a skill roll increase. So I ask all the players to roll on all the skills they've succeeded on in that block of the story. And because everything works on a percentile in Cthulhu, what they're looking here to do is to fail the skill. So the more points you have in the skill, the harder it is to fail. So what this means is if you use skills that you're not very good at, you have a higher chance of increasing them. And every time, so they roll for everything that they've used and succeeded on without using luck. And if they fail the roll, they get to increase it by 1d10 points. And this is how characters over time build up their skills. There's also going to be the option for them to take some extra training during break, but I will discuss that once I've had a little think about some things, because there's a few fine-tunings to do with what exactly Maddie has signed away / what has Maddie received. And also what Franco, who I think is currently perhaps the next most fragile member of the group, is going to do over the next year. How close to the brink we will find him. Actually, that's a good question. How's Mortimer's sanity looking?
Is that 14?
Okay. It might be the question of how Mortimer spends the next year is, how many books is he wanting to read versus keeping his head above the water? Or is he interested in a visit from everyone's friendly, local, definitely trustworthy eldritch being?
Don't know who that could be.
But, yes, no, rolling a fumble doesn't get you anything extra. Don't think. But, yeah, everyone's getting... Maddie's getting better at knitting.
Maddie just hit 77 for her spot hidden.
That's a very
Nice.
dangerous skill to have, spot hidden.
Oh, yes.
It's intelligence and spot hidden are a double-edged sword. They can help you solve mysteries, but they also mean you see things that no man was meant to see.
Oh, like the person following her?
One person. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm getting better in breaking and entering.
You always need one.
Yes. That and intimidating people.
Hey, well, you need someone to be a little scary. But,
I'm sorry, Dr. Davenport.
Oh, Mortimer's just too good at all the things
I
that
just
he's...
rolled really well, except I did fumble the dodge roll. So I
Hey,
got an increase in dodge.
being better at
Nice.
dodging is always useful. Some
Indeed.
skills
I
that
think
have
that's the
no
only skill
downside.
increase. Yeah, that's the only thing I increased was dodge.
Hey, look, that could save your life.
Oh, I forgot fast talk because I just succeeded to this session.
But yes, we'll be back next week with a future installment with a little bit of a time skip and perhaps a slight shift in whatever horror they're facing next. I've got plans. Glorious, glorious plans.